This will be part one. I'm going to talk about 340 cylinder heads, the three castings used, and the differences. 202 valves, big X right here on the side. The 894X head came with a 72cc open combustion chamber. Some books will say 66 and all that crap. That's crap. When I got these, even after they'd probably been milled before I got them, and I milled them twice, you know, cleanups, 3,000ths maybe, they were like 69 cc's. So let's bring you in on this. These particular X heads have been ported. Inflow in the 270 range. The difference with these, and I'll go over it later, but the difference with these mainly is in the approach of the floor on the short turn. It is longer and flatter, buds. It is not a big hump like a J head. And you gain a lot more area, basically, between the roof and the top of the short turn. I think the X head has a better exhaust port floor than a J head. They're similar shaped, if they might even seem identical to most people's eyes. But they're not. Anyways, you can look at the outside of the head. Contours, and then a type boss there and all that, the X. Okay, the next head they decided to come out with was for the 340 in 1970, because 69 was the last year. 1970 for the J head, because 69 was the last year of the X head. Okay, bring it back over here. This is your 1970 model. Came out of or off of a 1970 344 speed Duster. This is a factory 202 head. This set of heads, other than guides and a valve job, is stock. There's no porting or anything on it. Just a little seat touch. Notice how much they removed from under the seat. But this one right here, in this form, with the ledge there and everything, but being it has this from the get-go, look at that. This flows about about 232. Yeah, so there you go. And then you can see how the stock exhaust port is. Tilt this. It's terrible. There's nothing for a short turn. It's like putting a seat in this would actually help it. Sorry about the focus there for a second, but yeah, it's terrible. Sharp edge, and then so leaving material here is a good idea. And working the roof and the bowl a little bit. But okay, so they cast them for 70. They hung on till 73, but they didn't technically use them in the 340s till 73, because I believe it was the 587 that jumped in 73, maybe even 72, but I want to say it was 73, yeah. I'm not a book, I'm not a big numbers guy, I'm an engine guy. So I'll remember things like that, but even then, I'm not the final. Anyhow, bone stock. Big hump in the floor. You can't really tell. But there's a big hump in the floor. It's pretty Pretty claustrophobic in there. Of course, you just looked at a set of X heads that have been fully ported, so the kink and all that stuff's the same. It's just the floor that's different. The floor in these is a big round hump, while the X head, it raises up, but it planes out and then goes straight down. These typically had a 72cc chamber. It's very believable because that's about 100,000 steep right there. At least 80. Could do this funky way here. What's that, 105? Yeah, so, you know, 100,000 steep. Alright, so here is a 587. Now this would be probably a passenger car head because it doesn't have any of the holes drilled. It's an early 587. If you can see that good or not. I got this all switched up. So yeah, there's no drilled holes for the smog. They do have the bosses on the floor still, but they're not in the best place. They need to be closer to the seat. Now, that's something that's interesting is I don't know of any 587s that have a nicely placed air injection port. They usually kind of push back from that short turn. But a 596 and a 974, especially 974, you can get those. You can find them undrilled in some vans or the early ones. 74. It was like a 1-year head for the 974, and then they switched to the 596. And I'm not sure why or whatever they decided to do that, but the core wore out and they did another one based on the same thing. But the 974, like in that other video I have, it's got that boss pushed closer to the short turn. You can it actually, it's useful. Unlike this isn't super useful. You'll kind of knock the tit right off the top, the peak there, and just kind of, you know, round it, and it helps in some weird way, but you know, it's not ideal is all I'm trying to say, I guess. So here's one of these, your 188 version, typical valve job on this. Technically like a 1, 2, 3, 4. And what do they flow? Anyhow, you know, about 130, 145-ish, 140 on the exhaust, and 210, 208, somewhere around there. J head at 188 would flow like 216 almost, 212. Not much difference. Big chamber. This chamber's a little less bitchin' from the straight shot. I should put them together. Does that stay here for a second? Yeah, it'll stay there. That one is just pushed back a little more, it feels like. In fact, it is. It is cast pushed back more. They just have more lean on the chamber. This is just rougher and a little bit shittier. Now, I have another one of these here too that I was fiddling with.